Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightbringers podcast, episode 13, potentially, I think. Maybe. It's one of the teen, it's in the teens now. It's a new episode, and it's the last episode of 2023. And we have two wicked people with us, Fornax and Rava, wicked being the operative word. I don't mean cool, I just mean actually wicked, like evil, kind of. Hello.
I wasn't aware of this
I've just thrown
introduction.
in on my broomstick, yeah.
You're just broomsticks in the background, it's under the desk.
True.
And Rava's like, just got us a bouncing ball, which is their broomstick, apparently.
And I have a cat mug, so I guess it works with the witches, yeah.
There you go.
Sweetie, it's not that kind of stream, darling.
Oh my god! Wow! See, with the others, it's a little bit older in here today, so it's okay. Actually, I don't know how. I'm not gonna ask.
It's fine. All the kids are playing with Lego. They're not here. It's okay.
Hey, I've got Lego
Yes.
as well. Don't. It's not. That's not.
I have Lego.
You do as well.
I have a Lego bonsai tree. I got a Lego bonsai tree for Christmas. Just so.
Wow, that's actually awesome. I'd rather have a Lego bonsai tree. It's much easier to take care of.
That's true.
We're here to talk about Guild Wars 2. Oh yeah.
And definitely not gonads. Yep. Definitely not gonads. Just Guild Wars 2. All the
No
way.
nads on the
guys.
go.
100% no nads. Yeah.
No nets.
So,
No
Aww.
nads.
no nads. God.
That's loud.
It's even worse. Yes, we're going to talk about the year of Guild Wars 2. The year of Guild Wars 2. A year in Guild Wars 2 2023. And questions and stuff welcome from the chat as well. If you're watching or listening live on, not live, in the future on YouTube and all the other things, I hope you're well and you're having a good time. If you're wondering where the other folks are, it's just the holidays. They're seeing family, they're doing other stuff, they're busy, and that's okay. They're fired, but it's fine. What can we do? I mean, you know, I'll rehire them next year probably, at some point in time. But yeah, so I hope they're all having a wicked time as well. I hope everyone is having a great end to their 2024. Who knows what we've got planned for then. Actually, we do, because there was an interview with Josh Davis, the director of Guild Wars 2. We're going to be talking a little bit about that as I read some bits and bobs out, hopefully, if I can find them. And we're just going to talk about how we enjoyed Guild Wars 2 in 2023. It's just going to be pretty chill, honestly. The new cadence of like expansions and stuff, and how we think that's going, if it's too much, if it's too little, if there's a cat meowing in the background, you know, that's Krisha just asking for attention. So just bear in mind that she exists. Fornax, no, actually don't bear in mind, worship her. Fornax. That's what you're doing, Hello, welcome back as well. It's good to see you. We haven't seen you for a while because you've had some stuff going on. You can say whatever you want about that, but you don't have to say anything. Yeah. But I'm very glad you're here and I hope you're well.
Oh, thank you very much. I have more holes now than I had the last time that I was on the podcast.
Wow.
I had a laparoscopic surgery. That's what I had.
Oh,
I got 4 holes in my back. Yeah, it was the worst spa day that I have ever had, and I gave the surgeon like a really bad Yelp review. No, it was fine.
What? Can you give surgeons Yelp reviews in the UK?
Well, I mean, I told him that I would, and he found that quite amusing.
Okay.
But
that he was bad and he thought that was funny?
I said I'd be kind, but his bedside manner was rubbish.
Okay.
No,
They're normally
no,
the
he
best
was
doctors,
lovely.
though, to be fair.
No, he was actually hilarious and amazing, and it was great. But I have been a bit discombobulated by the surgery, but I'm on the mend, and hopefully by January I'll be fighting fit. But yeah, I'm Fornax, the Crichton Herald, person with many holes, too many, and I fuck Jesus God.
Yes, well, you knew what you were trying to do there. You know what you were doing. It's okay.
And I make
You knew what you were doing.
YouTube content. I did. I have to say I
You
did.
always do.
I always do, but people like us being funny, and this is my attempt at it.
That's
so you're gonna
literally
have
the
to bear
reason why
with me.
people watch. They literally don't care about Guild Wars 2. They like Guild Wars 2 is great, but we love the banter at the beginning and the end of the show. You should see where people trail off. You start talking about Guild Wars 2, it's like boom. It's like, no one is interested.
Talk about the holes and the gonads. Like,
Yeah, the gonads and the holes up, trending up. YouTube, and then it's
Oh my
down.
God. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, on the downwards trend, I have put out a couple of videos this week. We did the extra live stuff.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I did a podcast with Rook,
Yeah.
and a couple of people gave $100 US, whatever that's worth, for me to make a video. So I made 2 videos, one for
Nice.
Roy's Boys,
Yeah.
and one for an anonymous donor, and one was like a story time where I read a load of lore books from the Wizard's Tower, which was quite
cool.
fun. And the other one, I did my like top 5 female lady people in the story.
wicked.
Yeah, and I talked about what I wanted. I basically talked about expansions around these people that I thought might be cool. So yeah, that's on my channel. Go and have a watch.
Nice.
People use it to sleep too, so good luck with that. Yay!
Excellent. I mean, a view's a view, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's okay. Excellent.
It's better than masturbating to it. I'll take it. It's fine. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all there is. Sorry.
I'm trying to keep. Like, Jesus Christ. You haven't been here for like a few weeks, and you're just like spreading it all around. You're like, all right.
I'm sorry. I've lost my filter. I'll be good. But it's good for your
Jesus
prostate. So
Christ.
don't be shy. It's good for you. It's also good for like cortisol, testosterone. I mean, you've got scientists here.
Yeah.
It's good for you, right? Mental. Yep. There you
it's
go.
so
Awesome.
good for you
Oh,
and
that
for
is
mental
good for
health
you.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so you should do it.
Yeah. You should do it. You should do it.
I don't
Every
know.
day.
I don't know.
Every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Just make sure you're safe. It's not in a public space, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Doing it too much, you're not functioning as a human being. That's when it becomes bad.
Yeah. 1
Um,
apple, 1 orgasm. No doctors needed. Yes.
oh my
There you
God.
go. I'm fine.
Should give that
I'm
to
fine,
you.
guys. Sorry. Okay.
Rob,
I'll be quiet. Hey, Rob.
It's good to see you. We haven't had you on here for a while. How you doing? Tell us what you do. What you do it. I don't know if you can
alright.
match that. But...
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, like, you know, I'm the one with the many holes. How do I beat this title? I'm the one who studied the prostate. I don't know. But yeah, hi. My name is Rava. I'm a streamer on Twitch, and I'm also a scientist. I work in multiple sclerosis and cancer research, and I'm a big nerd on those topics. That's why I really love when Fornax talks science to me. You know.
That
And,
was
yeah.
science? Oh, you mean before?
I talk
Okay,
dirty to
sorry.
you all day, baby, all day. Let's talk about the Hubble tension, darling. Let's really get down and dirty. Sorry, carry on.
Let's talk about masturbation on this library.
What is happening? I mean, I've got the mature rating on. It's okay.
Good.
Jesus bloody
Good,
hell.
good.
We are really there. I don't think any Guild Wars 2 podcast goes that far. I may have to put extra. I'll put extra warnings on today.
I just want to say that my first podcast with you, Jebro, you're like, yeah, can you just be careful with like, you know, the like topics of like sexual stuff and stuff. And I was never the one who started it. It was either Fornax or Rook, but I was never the one who started it. So just gonna put that out there as vindication, you know.
That's fair. What are your YouTube and your Twitches that people can follow? Did you say that?
Yeah, I have a YouTube. It's not dead. It's having a nap because I also had a little injury last year that makes it very difficult for me to sit, which is why if you see me bounce up and down is because I'm exercising my back, not doing anything dirty.
No,
And I have a Twitch.
Okay, you said that first. Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna go in there before next goes.
I love how I have not been filthy whatsoever, everyone. Just note that, okay? Just note that. And something Rava mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. as well, before we came in, was this time of year is folks are very susceptible to a lot of mental health concerns and conditions. If you are going through anything right now, there will be a link in the chat. You can do !mark you matter in chat, and we'll also chuck in some details on the comments probably today of numbers you can talk to and people you can connect with, so that if you're in crisis you can have some support, even text lines and whatnot as well, and it's all anonymous and etc. So please use those if you're having any difficulties or anything going on, and we hope that you're safe. Reach out to someone even if you're not feeling these things. Reach out to someone else who you may not have heard from for a while, because one, it's good to be talked to, and it's good to not feel alone. So
yeah, the world is much better with you in it, wherever you are. So stay with us and don't leave. Don't leave. No one's getting out early this year. I'm stopping it right here. Nobody's getting out early. We're all staying.
You mean in
and we're having
2024,
Christmas
right? Because
pudding
you've
and
only got a couple of days of
Christmas.
2023 left.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't leave me for 2024. I'm not doing this by
24,
myself,
24.
guys. Don't,
Okay.
please don't. Yeah.
No, we need to be all together.
And if you're
I
in
agree.
America,
do.
like, let's hug and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think anywhere
You
in
can
the
come and
world.
stay on my
Yeah,
couch.
that's
You can
true.
come and stay.
It's true. The
My
world
couch is going to be very full of refugees from America.
the world is literally a big, massive trash can rolling through the universe on fire. Like, that is what planet Earth is. But there are good moments.
True.
We do find some gems in there from time to time. Okay, so Guild Wars 2. It's only 20 minutes in. How have we felt like about the game just generally in 2022? I mean, expansions, everything else, we've just generally, like, have you been playing that much this year? Has it been like something that you've been playing much or less than because you've got some other stuff going on? I mean, you're both talking about health concerns going on. Does that lower your rate of play, or does it increase it because you're a little bit more at home? Like, how much are we playing Guild Wars? What's going on? You enjoying it?
I could go first if you want.
Sure.
I played the same amount, like, because obviously I can't sit as long as I used to, so I only play Guild Wars 2 when I stream. But I managed to get quite a lot done, and I just want to say, so I'm losing track of the years, but this year in 2023, that's when Soto came out, right? Yes.
Yes.
It is. Okay, and
yes, Robert.
I'm losing track because we had so many expansions.
It's okay. I was watching a video yesterday, and some guy is like, some MMO guy talking about New World was like, yeah, Guild Wars 2 still running raids, still creating raids and all this, and they're comparing like New World to Guild Wars 2, and I'm like, this guy is like, it's almost 10 years, like, dude, like, like, they don't do raids anymore. 10 years is a bit extreme, but they don't do raids anymore, and that expansion was 2 years ago, and there were all them, so everyone else no one knows what's going on, rather, it's fine.
All right. But in terms of Soto, like, we finally I started playing in 2015, so like the dragons and stuff were already out, Bram and stuff. Whereas this expansion felt so much like home because it was the first one where I was there from the get-go to meet like those amazing little characters like Lear and Gladium and Cheek. I can't pronounce it.
You get brownie points for saying Lear first.
Yes, I love Lear. I love him. But yeah. So it was fantastic because, like, obviously I know like a lot of people feel at home with the original crew, but it's so cool for new, like, players who didn't start from the beginning to like have their own story and create their own little group of friends. So I really enjoyed that about Soto. It was one of my favorite things actually, and Peitha because she's mommy. And Dagda, because she's mommy. And if we can, by the way, Devs, if you're watching that, if you can make Dagda and Peitha kiss, I would love you forever.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
A good point though, actually, about the new players coming into the and like into Guild Wars 2 and witnessing like the new kind of, I like that. That's a very good point, actually. Didn't think about that. Good point. Fornax, or did you want to add anything else to that, Rava, or Fornax? Do you want to go?
Okay,
I'm good.
Pressure up.
I really liked. I really enjoyed playing through the expansion. The additional content has been a bit of a miss for me. Specifically, not necessarily for the gameplay, but specifically for the story. I feel like we didn't get enough story with the next story patch that we got. It was just not enough. But in terms of like Soto and the narrative and the character's introduction and the whole expansion of the universe of Guild Wars 2 and starting to learn our place in it and understanding the myths and how they work, and I loved all that. I love all the books that they've hidden throughout the world. I love the new characters. I love Dagda. She is amazing. I want to see her get back together with Waking Sorrow, but I don't think they're going to go for bestiality. I just don't. Sorry.
We are really visiting all the things.
Sorry,
this podcast episode.
Sorry, for clarity, Waking Sorrow was Dagda was in a romantic relationship with Waking Sorrow, or that's the popular speculation, and Waking Sorrow is a Coden. So, I don't know what else would you call it. Go on.
I mean,
you're a
it's
mental health
different.
specialist.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'm an expert bestiality.
I mean, everyone has to have hobbies. I don't know. I mean,
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Everyone's got their hobbies. Not something I'm visiting yet as a therapist. I've only been going for a bit, about just over a year, but I don't judge. Well, I mean, that. Yeah. So, I mean, in Guild Wars 2, it's different in a fantasy universe, right? Because they're not animals, if that makes it. Because if we think about animals, we think about animals in our world. And this is very different. Like, they're considered, in terms of biology, science, and just the human race, because we're awful and great at the same time. But there's a consideration. They are lower on the food chain, right? They're lower. They're not as important, etc., right? I don't think that.
I would say it's about consent, right? It's all about consent. It's all about informed consent.
I mean, that's absolutely the most. But
Yeah. And
I don't know what to say
and you can't have
anymore.
informed consent without the cognition to give it.
Yeah, exactly. The functioning there, right?
Yeah,
So that's exactly. You said it much better than I did. So they're just it's like they're just another race. They're just another race of people, I guess. Does that make sense? It's just sentient, intelligent people that can say yes and no and maybe, I'm not sure. And let's go to the movies first, maybe. I don't know.
Can I just say, my mind went to a very weird place when I heard Coden. The first thing I thought about wasn't the bear. It was in biology, when you replicate DNA, you have a codon. And it's a thing of 3 base pairs, and I was like, wait a minute, she's in love with, and then I realized Coda. Sorry, I just
she's in love with biology and science. I mean, there's not that bad.
DNA itself, that would be so cool.
There you go.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, but anyway, sorry, tangent. I've really enjoyed the story, and I really think that they for the amount of money that we spent on the expansion, which was about what, $20, $25. I think we got a lot of bang for our buck.
Yeah.
I really did. But I'm hoping that we're going to get more story, and we're going to get a fulfilling, decent amount of story. That I think they're going to be basically using it as bridging content for the next story that we'll be going into. So I'm quite hopeful. But yeah, I've really liked it, and I'm hopeful for the future. But I'm a little bit disappointed with how much story content we've got so far with the additional quarterly releases.
Do you think it was like kind of a little bridge like they did in the previous like when we were waiting for Soto and they did that mini episode that didn't feel like much with the sushi and stuff and the date? I don't remember.
At least there was sushi, I guess.
Yeah.
At least there was, yeah. I mean, the problem. I think the problem they face is that they've done such a banging job with the living world and the season 3 and season 4. There were extraordinary, massive amounts of lore, massive amounts of content, massive amounts of character development. Even Icebreed Saga, which a lot of the community is not a particularly like in favor of, when you play it in retrospect, when you play through it in retrospect, because I recently did the legendary trinket thing, so I went through and I played all of it again, including all of the missions that everyone hates, and the story and the character development was really good. I found it really enjoyable. But when we were getting it, it was a very different feeling, I guess. But yeah, I think we've been spoilt. That's what I think. Yeah.
True. And you can notice it, for example, with Zoja in that like newest episode where you barely like interact with her and like all you get is, oh, she barely remembers who you are. And that's it. And it cuts through the rest of the story. And it was a shame because like that's the most impactful moment at the end of Soto where like, okay, Soja is ascended or whatnot. Sorry if I'm using the wrong language, but yeah, then you get to see her and you're like, oh, let's see what happened. And she just like, oh, who are you? I think I know you. And then you just continue with the story and oh, okay.
Yeah, she just gets amnesia. I don't want to ascend. That sounds awful. Just forget people. Great. Cheers for that. I mean, that's not the only thing that happened. Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm for me, the story is fine lengthwise because I kind of just bash through it, and it's not the main reason I play Guild Wars 2, but I get that why people would feel that way because it does feel short at times. It definitely, the last section did. I think again what you say, Fornax, is very true. You know, we are kind of getting what we pay. I mean, $25. It's access. It's that $25 encompasses a lot of stuff. Like it's maps, it's story content, it's a lot of features, it's extra sky scale stuff. It isn't just like one thing. It's not elite specializations. It's not the weapon master, I don't think, because I think you can get can you get the weapon stuff if you don't have the expansion? Pretty sure you can, right? Or can you?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I think you have to have the expansion to get to unlock or untether the weapons from their elite specializations, basically, right?
So it is tied to the expansion. See, that is see, there you go. So there is that as well, right? So that makes sense. I actually did not know that specifically. Maybe I did, but I forgot. So there is a lot with it. So I think there's a lot to. It's like $25. Just for game and like for not paying a sub fee, like, you know, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, and you know, if you pay a sub for Elder Scrolls Online, you know, that's a lot of money a year. Like, you know, that's $150, and then it's like close to $200 in tax. It's like, then you pay for an expansion. They should be giving you a lot of stuff, and I don't think they actually give you enough at those games. To maybe Final Fantasy 14, a lot of people are mostly happy with that, but it's still quite a lot of money, because if you think about, you know, Netflix and all that kind of stuff, sorry I use them as an example, like the amount of content you get, and I guess like there's, you know, we're churning this out, it's another sub, and nowadays that's a lot of money to be churning out a month, so it has to be really worth it. One thing I think I'm a bit concerned about is work overload, because I actually think this is too much for them. I actually think this expansion a year, I don't think it's going to work. I think maybe a couple of years, maybe, if their team grows more, yes, but I think it might not be the best for the studio, in my opinion.
especially if they think of like adding strikes, adding like it depends on what they add as well, because like fractals, CM, strike CM, like it seems like a lot plus the story. Like they're trying to please like a lot of the player base. There are people who love story exclusively, and there's like people like me who love fractals and stuff. But if they're doing that like at this cadence, it's gonna be a lot.
I don't think it's I think they're going to, because I think it's kind of like less is more and more is less almost. Like you promise this stuff, there's going to be an expectation that they keep to it, and in the past they haven't been able to. World v World alliances is one of the biggest examples of that, but that's a different issue. But like it's just like, the elite specializations being one. At least they toned that down and went to like weapons. So that was really, really good. But I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying what is the repercussions of that, like of giving us what we want? Like, does that mean like they go hard for a couple of years and then they kind of all just burn out or leave, or because I feel like you can see it coming out because the story is shorter. And whether or not that's because of time constraints and money or not money, talent or etc. Maybe, if you'd seen the Living Story episode, would it have been that short? Because maybe they could have just kept going with Living World, and they could have just chucked in the weapon stuff. They could have just chucked in the maps are already there. We're technically getting less maps probably. I mean, in the end, right? Because we've got 4, and don't you get like 4 or 5 in a Living World season anyway? So it's kind of the same stuff, but you're paying for it now because it's got the expansion label. Because there's some other changes and additions and extra features. So I don't mind paying for it, but they didn't. I think that's why they changed to an expansion kind of cadence, because they can charge now for that. Does that make sense? I don't want that to sound crappy, because they deserve to. They should. We should be paying for Living World. Like every year, that's something we should have been paying for access to, I think. Because they deserve to get the money for it. Like, they were giving us way too much for free, and too many people were giving ArenaNet crap. And that really angered me all the time. It still does. When people give them crap, I'm just like, dude, it's free. It's free to play. You don't have to pay that much money. If you go and look now, like with the sales, like you barely pay anything compared to other MMORPGs in terms of how much money you have to spend to catch up. Because you're not only paying for the expansions, you're actually paying for a sub to continue to play to catch up. And it's like, man, easily the best deal out there, other than maybe like New World, because that's pretty cheap. But there's a tiny fraction of content in New World compared to like Guild Wars 2 right now. But yeah. That's my concern.
I completely agree. I mean, if you think back to Path of Fire, how many new features did we get? How many new elite specializations, all the different mounts, all the different mount skills, all the maps designed around those mounts. And then they went back into the old world and basically like had to wall off a load of the old world and make parts of it accessible that were originally accessible because of the flying mounts. I mean, it's just an enormous amount of work for a very small price. If you look at the competitors, and I mean, so I think that you're right. I think that hopefully, I mean, so I'm thinking to their blog post, they put out a blog post on I think it was about the 22nd of December, and they've said that SOTO has been a financial success for them, and so that they are on an even keel footing financially to go forward, and that makes me very happy. But personally, and I can only speak for myself. Personally, I would rather give them more money to get more story. But that's if you want something, if you want creators to make things, you need to provide them with a livelihood to be able to do that, right?
Absolutely.
But a lot of people can't afford a subscription. A lot of people, especially with the current environment that we're in, although a lot of places are starting to come out of the kind of the recession born of the pandemic. But there's still a lot of people who rely on games because, let's face it, games are a massive assistance to people who have mental health disorders. If people are housebound, a lot of people there's loads of disabled gamers whose whole social network is built around these MMOs where they can make friends and connections right across the world. I know that I have been one of them for a long time, and so I always worry about chopping off access to and putting these kind of things behind a paywall, and that's where Guild Wars 2 is fantastic with it's like you buy the expansion to play it, and plus things like Final Fantasy 14 as well. They have like 2 expansions worth of entirely free content that you can play through and meet all these communities, and even World of Warcraft has I think up to level 20 you can get into the game, you can explore it, you can meet people, and I think that's like tremendously important. So, but we also have to like pay the people who make it. As long as it's not Bobby Kotick, he can go fucking burn in a fire as well. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
No, and what's great as well, what you were saying for Nex, is that even for people who can't afford the new expansion like Soda and everything, they can still play a massive chunk of the game without having to buy those expansions. So that's really cool. Like, I have a few friends who can't afford it, and we can still raid together. We can still do map comp and stuff like this, which is fantastic because it really. And I don't know a lot of other MMOs, but it feels like it's like there's still so much to do in Guild Wars 2 without Soda.
Yeah.
So I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a load. Is it Heart of Thorns is included in the if you buy an expansion, right? Is it? And Path of I can't remember now.
Can't remember, but like even the new features, for example, rifting. Yeah, you can't rift in the newer maps, but you can still do rifting in the older maps. I think that you might never be able to get your PV legendary armor because you'll probably definitely need map comp from. I think you do need map comps for of the newer maps, but you can still go rifting with your friends for at least 4 maps or something like that, or 3 maps. So it's still like you can still play every elite spec. Okay, cool, your necro won't have a pistol, but it's still really cool that even they don't gatekeep the entire content behind a paywall, even though they should, because they deserve to be paid, like you said. But it's kind of really cool.
Yeah, and it's just the way it is. Like, it's how they make money and how they continue. They have to entice you to spend money. It's a product at the end of the day, right? Like, where this is the thing, and it's really it's not too much, but like we say, it's all different for everyone in terms of cost. I mean, in terms of also I have enjoyed it a lot. I think one of the biggest things that has got me coming back to the game literally daily, because I don't think I've missed more than a day of this, is the Astral Acclaim stuff and getting that done every day. I do it religiously every day. I mean, whether or not I like doing it every day is another question, is another thing to talk about maybe another day. But I don't have to. I really just don't have to. There's a little bit of FOMO. But the thing is that it's not like you can get the really cool skins and be done with it, but then you can also just get additional stuff like currency or gold or whatever. Like, that's how I make my gold. I do the Astral Claim stuff, and I got all of the gold, and like I got the skins, and I even started collecting the weapons. Fornax, you'd be proud of me. I've almost got all of the recent ones. Because you can spend all your currency on all the weapon skins and just get achievements and stuff. There's actually a lot to do.
With the cephalopod ones or the abattoir chic ones?
The ones that are in the Astral Claim store thing.
Oh, the nice looking ones, the sanctified ones, right?
Or whatever they're called. I don't know. No, not that one. Sorry, the sanctified ones. Yeah.
Dark, sanctified, and sanctified. Okay.
Yeah. The dark one, the red glowy ones. They're cooler because
Not the ones
darker.
with many eyes, which was
no,
just.
I want more. I want more
wow.
of those. I will. I like those ones. So good. But yeah, so I enjoyed that. I'm still enjoying that. I'm excited for what's to come soon again for that. But that's not going to be till Feb. So we've still got a bit of time till that. I mean, you know, January is weird for MMOs and just weird for advertising. Like, oh, January isn't really a time where people bring stuff out. Anyway, so...
The eyes are better than the meaty one. Yeah, I mean, some of that abattoir chic stuff, I mean, I am a bit of a germaphobe, and I wouldn't want that anywhere near my face. I don't want it near my avatar's face, and she doesn't have a face. It's not right. It's just festering, rotting. Yeah. But somebody likes it. Somebody likes it out there. I have a friend who has like a character who looks like they've been peeled. It's a Silvare, and she just goes for it. She's mad for it, and she's got all of those weapons. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but you know, you do you, boo. That's what I say.
No eyes and tentacles for Fornix, confirmed.
Please don't eat octopuses. They are very intelligent.
Oh,
They're
damn
the
it, I'm
closest
sorry.
thing we have on the planet to like an alien species. They're if you look back in the evolutionary records, they're like so like taken away from all the rest of the species. Octopi are brilliant. Please don't eat them. Okay, that's my request. That's it.
I'm not going to tell you.
You can. Yeah.
I
like this PSA. That's a really good one, actually. Also, it's so weird when you see the little tentacles and you eat. Oh, sorry, I just got distracted. Yeah.
Is that why you don't want people to eat them? Because you don't like them? Or no, I'm joking.
Yeah,
No, you
they
describe.
should, it's like the bees, Jebro. It's like the bees.
It's like the bees. I'm not going to eat bees. That's weird. And like, why would you eat bees? Why would you do that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was
Oh,
like
you mean with saving the bees? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to eat bees.
Octopi. Good.
Ah,
Good
okay.
one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I did.
Don't eat bees.
Dragging it back on topic though. Yeah. I do agree that the new Wizard's Vault is a much more enticing like draw for a daily login than the kind of tick off the boxes, go through the weeks to the month where you get that I'm so glad that that's gone.
Yeah.
I think, and it also allows people to, if they've got everything that they need from the vault, they don't have to bother, which is also good, right? It's a voluntary scheme, and I like it, and I also like the fact that we've had mount skins on there, we've got weapons on there, we've got an infusion on there. Infusions in the game are quite historically difficult to get, and if we could at some point, dear Father Christmas, be able to preview infusions, that would be super smashing and wonderful, and we will love you forever. You and your gonads, and yeah, that would be great. But yeah, I think that they've made a load of like little improvements, and I know that even players who don't have the expansion, the SOTA expansion, they can actually get access to the Wizard's Vault, which is fantastic. So that it's an improvement across the board, gonads or not. Yes, it's all good.
There's oh my gosh, there's also a really cool thing is I don't know if it bothered you before, but the previous logging method, it was so annoying because you would stack up those like bank thing, like how to access your bank, temporary bank thing, and then temporary trading post and stuff, and merchant. And to me, I don't know, it was really annoying. I would just stack them in my bank. Now you can selectively choose what you want. Like for example, for me, like the most important is the Black Line salvage kit, and you can get that instead of getting like 100 of those really annoying bank thing. And if you're like me and you have the perma bank tab, you know, it's not really useful. So it's really cool that you can select and pick whatever you want and spend your daily logins that it takes you a little bit to get however you want it. I think it's fantastic. It's a great change.
Yeah, you can even get transmutation charges. So if you're not in, which can be a problem if you're not doing a whole lot of World v World. Yeah, which is great. So, and I love the fact I know that a load of people who are going for specific legendary weapons because of the legendary package that's on there now that really boosts your ability to unlock legendary weapons, and I think that's amazing. If you haven't unlocked a legendary, it's a fantastic like personal goal that you can set in the game that you can work towards, and a lot of them will take you all over the map and take you on all sorts of adventures to get them. So it's really cool.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Awesome.
There was also something else. Oh yeah, for example, like, so if you're a vet player, don't use them anymore. But like, you know, if you're a newer player and you have this vault system and you have that one character, but you really want to level up another character, but you don't want to go through the motion of getting EXP or doing PvP or World v World, you can buy tomes now. Or even if you're making a legendary and you need those shards, you can buy tomes like just by doing daily, which is fantastic, honestly. Like, it makes it so much faster, and you don't have to go through, like, I think the fastest way to get those tomes is PvP, and we all know that PvP is pretty toxic. So if you're a new player and you show up and then you get like insulted because you don't know what you're doing, you don't really want to play the game. So
no,
great way to yeah.
I know, you know, quit PvP. I mean, how long is it since I played PvP? I'd have to try and find the quote, but this is the longest I've not. Actually, that is a big thing. I changed my gaming habit of like getting Guild Wars 2 of not PvPing, and I am infinitely more happy in the game than I've ever been. And I mean, other than when PvP was really like, you know, I was in it for the casting and the commentating, the community and the friends I had and everything else. Like, it's just completely, it's just, I don't know. It's not representative of the community that the RenaNet want to foster. It just isn't. Like, it's just so bad. It's a competitive thing. It's just not an excuse, and they need to. That is a separate podcast. They've not done enough in that area of their game to create a safe space for people to be in. They're failing pretty badly there. Actually.
I mean, it does
really
feel like my husband made me play some CS:GO, and it does feel very much like. We were on the Venice map, and I'm like, God, this is such a beautiful map. What a waste, just to have people shooting each other in the head here. Anyway,
I mean, PvP. I love PvP. Amused. That's not like I'm not sad about that. Like, PvP is great. Like, the game, the combat, everything else. I just think they could do more to create safety for people. I mean, that's the problem.
True, but
I have with it.
I'm saying that I felt like I could have been in a Guild Wars 2 PvP arena I think it's not the game. I think it's people who really like competitive PvP. They kind of they fit a paradigm of some description in some ways, especially if they're Russian. There was a lot of people in Russian swearing in CS:GO. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's
anyway.
true. I mean, that's not. But yes, there is yes. But the thing is, Final Fantasy 14 does it really well. They have the emotes and stuff. You can't even talk to each other, so there is that. That's really good.
That's really
I actually
cool.
think that would be more, because people don't chat. Like, even when I used to use the chat and talk to people and just be like, yeah, let's do this, let's go to this point and that point. Like, people just think that you're insulting them, and all you did was say, let's split up at this point, and that's it. And then people would just be like, no, and they'll tell you to kill yourself and stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Kind of escalated. But that's not really that's not really to do with expansion in this year. But, you know, you could tie it in a bit, I guess.
But the vault is helping combat that, because I don't know about you, but whenever someone tells me, hey, I'm new to the game, should I try PvP because it's the fastest way to get tomes? I'm like, you have vaults now. And second, if you really want to try PvP, turn off map chat and team chat, which is ridiculous, a ridiculous thing to tell someone, but you have to, because they're not prepared. They show up, maybe they're having a bad mental health day, and then they get insulted, you know? And it's like, if you're not like doing too well mentally, those words could actually hinder, like, you know, hurt or make them do something that they shouldn't be doing. So it is ridiculous, and that's why I think the vault is a good way to combat that in a way, because you can get tomes without doing PvP anymore. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I think someone in chat said that not all competitive players are ass hats, and that is 100% true. And I think if you want to go into a PvP environment and you really want to participate in it, the best thing you can do is be in a good Discord or in a good guild where you can go in with your friends and you can have a laugh and you can be shooting the shirt in Discord like we're just doing here, like we're just talking and having a laugh, and that is, I think, the best way to tackle competitive content if you are not like serious and you're not there to kind of like, you know, play the league tables. But I mean, some of the nicest people I know, and some of the people who've taught me the most about the game were and are very much into the competitive side of it, and they're all great. And it tends to be people who are not actually that good at PvP. You get very annoyed about things. But yeah, I myself, you know, I try to stay away. My blood pressure can't take it. I'll just like, smash keyboard. Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that.
Well, for me, it's really funny because I play with super high ping being in Australia. So people always think I'm hacking. So they report me and I'm like, no, I'm not hacking. Like, I have very high ping. Like, I have 300 ping. What do you want from me? So I get like insulted a lot. And my favorite thing is to just like combat it by being like playing really dumb. Like, what's far? What do we do? Oh, this is fun. Where's my turn? And people just get so annoyed. And I do this on stream and I'm like, but yeah, you just have to have the mental. No, not me,
you
but the people that get really
like a small hamster or also a squirrel.
Yeah.
And I attack their gonads.
Oh my gosh, you're all about the gonads today.
I just thought I'd keep with it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the team, you're going to name this Lightbringer podcast Gonads, you know?
The Gonads podcast.
The Gonads.
The Light Gonads.
New Year Nads.
The Gonad Bringers podcast.
I don't know if I want to be part of that.
Gonads of strife. Okay. I mean, we are the bringer of balls.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Veto.
New Nads. Oh, we're getting loads of suggestions in the chat. This is why people should come and watch this live. Okay. I'm wondering about where to go from now. I'm not sure. Let's talk about the article a little bit. I mean, Josh Davis talked to, now I think this is the only site, and you might get some ads on your screen and stuff, so I do apologize. WCCF Tech. I don't even know what they are. It just seemed like a really random website to have an article on. It was very odd, but you know, they I'm not sure if it's a big website. I think they've probably done stuff in the past. Let me look. Is it even a gaming website? It's got game. It's just tech. It's just everything gaming. It looks like. Okay. Diablo 4. GeForce. Okay. All right. Fair enough. They've got so many ads. I'm just like, oh, good lord. Somewhat reputable in tech world. Okay, cool. And I guess I don't go to websites anymore to look for information on stuff. I just go to YouTube and watch videos of people that barely know anything. It's just weird. Okay. So Josh Davis, I'm going to bring this up. Hopefully it works. If it not, it's going to be weird. And I'm sorry about that. Let me just have a look. See how this goes.
Can't get weirder than gonads.
That's true. There's a lot of ads as well, and I can't get rid of them, so I'm probably just... Oh, wait, no, I can get rid of that one. I can't get rid of this one, which is hone your skills at the university.
Oh, gosh, yeah, a lot of ads.
Just hope it doesn't randomly bring up my address. This can be fine. So... Josh Davis, he talked about the money off the expansion right now. $7.49 for Heartthorns and Path of Fire together. Oh, my God. Yes, you have to buy the living story and stuff separately. That is something else, which still kind of sucks. But they never really planned for that. And hey ho, here we go. Let me see. They were talking about the team. They asked a question about the team. They said, You've said Secrets of the Obscures was Secret of the Obscures. Secrets of the Obscure. There's so many obscure things. Was financially successful for ArenaNet. Can you share a ballpark of how many developers you've got actively working on Guild Wars 2 content, rather than possibly on other projects? Cheeky. Now, also, how big is the Steam player base compared to the? Well, Steam player base has barely shifted. Steam isn't where their player base is for Guild Wars 2. It just isn't. They've got an extra 4 or 5k people there. It's just, but you know, that's nice. Extra money, extra people, I guess, and easier to access. Free advertising as well. Well, it's not free, is it? But hey. Here he talks about how they've done pretty well with Soto. They've he says here, our current team size is roughly what it was during the development of Living World Season 4 and is about 15% larger than it was at the release of End of Dragons, which is pretty big, actually. But that was post maybe the layoffs, I think. I can't remember. So the game's doing okay. That's something we know. Just doing very well from as far as we know as well. This was a big thing here. He says, however, something that's been interesting is how our first-party new player acquisition has improved from being on Steam. Our new player acquisition numbers are the strongest they've been since 2016-17. In fact, we saw more first-time players in 2023 than we did at any point during the COVID-19 pandemic gaming boom, which is wild to me, actually.
Wow.
Everyone was at home and they didn't play Guild Wars 2. I'm just like, imagine what advertising does, everyone. I was like, marketing? Holy crap. Marketing sells the game.
Well, having it on Steam must have helped as well.
It's just like, I'm just thinking about it just then. That seems kind of wild that marketing would sell you a game. It's just like, it seems bizarre. But, you know, anyway. Sorry, deep sip of coffee there. But yeah, this article is pretty good. It gives some nice insight. They talk about the future of expansions, and they're talking about they do say we're not, well, Josh does say we're not ready to shut the door yet on elite specializations as well. Actually, wait, have I skipped a bit here on this? No, there we go, I haven't. But they're not ready to shut the door on that. It's always possible that they'll make a return in a future expansion. For now, we like the flexibility that focusing on weapons offers, and we've proven out that we can add new layers of gameplay interaction through just the weapons themselves. We plan to focus on weapons for our next expansion. So, you know, that's officially definitely the case. I think we knew that already. But we have a fun surprise in store to keep things fresh and exciting. So this is where I'm like, an extra thing on top of the weapons. I mean, if anyone wants to speculate about what that would be, you are very welcome to. But I don't know. I'm not sure what that could be. We plan to focus on weapons on our next expansion, but we have a fun surprise in store to keep things fresh and exciting. Someone said to me the other day, they were like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do cross-profession elite specializations.
That could be possible, actually. Like, there's just already so many options now that you have. Like, you can access, like, you know, weapons on all the classes thanks to Soto. And then, like, didn't they? I was not there, but they completed a beta as well to, with the catalyst being able to. What was the beta that just ended where you could test something? Yeah.
Weapons we can test, sorry.
I was like, was it a conference when it happened somewhere?
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it's like there's like, even though they're not elite spec, it almost feels like elite spec because you're unlocking something that you didn't have before. So it creates so many possibilities already.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, I think historically, players would love to have like subclasses. but like they used to in the original game, where you could have some of the skills from you be a warrior and you could get monk to make a paladin, and you could like do all these oddball builds, but it's incredibly hard to balance. The original game had so much scope and so much scale, and you could create these incredibly powerful builds, but if you're trying to balance around a competitive gameplay or balance around strikes and things, that's kind of, I mean, it's mission impossible. So I don't know. I mean, I know that a lot of the player base, I think they're specifically talking about skills and things, but I think a lot of the player base would like a new playable race, a new that kind of new like story tag, a new starting area, maybe like I've said this before, maybe like a Death Knight race in in World of Warcraft. They introduced a Death Knight race, which was like, it was a higher level character. You didn't have to do all the lower level leveling. You started it at a specific point. You had to level like maybe 10 levels to get to max level, and then you were straight into everything. And it was and they had their own like little unique starting zone, and then they were off to the races and with everybody else in the story after that point. And I would love to see that with the Tengu or with the Kodan or all these interesting unique species that they have on the planet, and we have these very humanoid-esque, you know. It would be nice. It would be nice to have, because I think that's the one thing that players have been really hankering for ever since the game launched. Tengu, Kodan, got Lagos playable race starting in a new underwater zone. I mean, that would be amazing, right? So
yeah. Dwarves, someone said in the chat, yep, you're my new favorite person. Agree?
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Do you think they could introduce, like, you know, like the way Soja ascended to something else, becoming a wizard? Do you think they could introduce
to be dwarves?
something?
Yeah.
Oh, not ascend to be dwarves, but like that's the new like layer that they're talking about, where you ascend to become, I don't know, wizard, and then you forget everything that you've learned before. You even forget your friends, and you have no idea who they are. But at least you're powerful. I don't know, like some kind of.
I think. Well, that's what I actually think they're going to bring in the new class. I think they will do. I think you're right, Fornax, as well. Like technically, like something like they could do a new class, because that can give you a new class is it's similar to a new race, and the reason why I say that is it's a different facet of your character. Like, it's a huge facet of your character, right? It's the way you play the game, essentially. And you know, maybe people don't care that much about what race they play, but like, you know, size, armor, looks and stuff, that is like a huge thing as well. So it's very interesting, I think, how they could, because they did bring in the Revenant, and there are other things they could bring in still from like Guild Wars 1 or new as well. So like, it's like that could be new. Maybe it probably won't be anything that spectacular, but like, you never know. I mean, they did unlock weapons. That's not something we were expecting at all, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Yukon suggested a wizard class. Do you think that they could have like an elite specialization that everybody could use?
That's kind of what Rob was saying, like with the ascending thing. Yeah.
That's like, you know, and especially didn't they do, maybe I will spoil, like BG3, didn't they do something like that where you can ascend?
Spoil BG3. I'm still
I'm sorry, like, but like, you know, I think it would be a cool thing, because you see Soja go through that. I don't know about Dagda's past, but from what it sounds, she became a wizard. Like, so I don't know. It would be really cool, especially because it's on theme and stuff. You know.
You are a wizard. Humphreys guy says, I enjoyed the monk class from Guild Wars 1. I think monk is kind of tied into some Guardian stuff as well, but you know, there's no reason why they couldn't potentially bring something in, maybe some abilities or utilities that are shared between everyone. I think there's a danger of that becoming a bit like Elder Scrolls Online, where it doesn't really feel like there's a class identity in Elder Scrolls Online, because if you run, like, everyone can have the same staff skills and stuff, and some of the skills are just everyone has access to, and they're the strongest skills of the game, and I'm like, okay. It's just really odd. So it'd have to be very, very well done, so that you don't all just take the same stuff all the time. But it would be fun to add something extra like that into the game. potentially. Yeah. Okay.
I agree. Actually, if you want to know about Dagda, you should listen to the lore episode that I did, the lore reading, because it talks about there's a whole scene with Dagda talking about her early life and stuff. So you should listen to it. It's just the end part. It's like part 4 of the thing. It's right at the end. You should watch it.
I'll watch it all. Bonax, I love your videos. But yeah, thank you for that. You do such an fantastic work with your videos. My goodness, so.
You're so kind.
There was something else. Oh yeah, like kind of like mentioning a little bit about this. We kind of like, was it this year as well that we kind of like, I don't know if you remember, and I'm gonna talk with, because I'm mainly a raider / fractaler, but before you were super limited to what class you needed to play to have a meta comp for like endgame content, like fractal CM and stuff. You could only bring like one Druid, one Chrono to give quickness and alacrity. But now they're really even out the playing field so that you can bring kind of almost any healers that you want, any quickness giver. And I believe that's ever since Soto came out, right? They started a tiny bit with EOD, but with like Soto coming out, they really made it so that honestly, if someone asks you to bring a specific class for a specific type of combat, you can kind of flip them off and say, listen, this is just as strong as what you want me to bring, so feck off. So, and that's really cool because like people get to play the class that they love.
I totally agree. I flip-flopped through a few healers. I think there are a couple of like specific jobs, like hand kiter at Deimos. You need a very specific build because you have to take so much damage over such an extended period of time, and you need so many mitigations for the shouts and things. So, but yeah, I completely agree. I think that they've really opened it up. Although they have nerfed my beloved Guardian, the bar stools. So my healer, you son of a bitch.
Same, yeah. Yeah. No, it's for specific mechanic it's gonna be difficult. For example, on druids, like for SH Soulless Horror, like you still have a druid to push and stuff. Although now with like you can push it with Scrapper and Chrono, but I agree with you. Still more difficult with those mechanic specific things, but it's just so good now that you in LFG for raids, for example, you have like looking for a lack DPS or looking for quickness DPS, not looking for druid. So it's really cool, and it's been really fantastic with like, for example, I do a lot of raid training, and like people can bring whatever the heck they want because it's feasible and it's obtainable, and they get to play whatever they love, which is really awesome. And I know there was a lot of like people complaining about that because their favorite class wasn't the meta anymore because everything was a bit of a meta, but it's really cool.
Nice.
Actually, I watch a lot of your raids because you're amazing. You have to watch Rava raid. It's amazing. She's so awesome. I'm like totally have my learner plates on still. I haven't even done Wing 5. I'm too scared. I think I'm gonna have a panic attack going in. But
I haven't finished. I think that's the only one. I think that's the one I haven't done. Maybe we should have a learn with Rava session.
Yes, look at me.
Absolutely.
You're both partners. You can move to my server because I can't go on NA, and we get a kill, and it's fun and it's chill.
Phonax is already
carry me, mama. Carry me.
Carry me, mommy.
Your DMs, I hope. Let's go.
Amazing. I think that can be a future thing for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah, in this interview, so like dungeons, they're not doing anything about dungeons. I was sad, but it's not unexpected. They talked about they asked some really random questions. I don't know who the interviewer was, but they felt like really leading questions and really random ones, like talking about hardcore and classic servers and stuff. But honestly, that is something I said. I was like, oh, I'd love that. That's more the future. It's not really the past. But it's a good article. Should go read it. The gist I got from this and hearing from what Josh Davis was saying, or aka Grouch, was that 2023 was a pretty good year for Guild Wars 2. 2022 was a pretty good year for Guild Wars 2. And it sounds like 2024 might be even better. The one thing that we did talk a little bit about was the weapons bear and the mix of feedback. Crew-fitting boots, I don't think were massively happy with a lot of the weapons from what I remember. With some of them, sure. And I think that was kind of the general feedback. I was pretty happy with, the engineer short, but I actually kind of enjoyed. A lot of people did not enjoy it at all. I just thought it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was fun and it was a new way of playing. But yeah, after a while, maybe it could get a little bit boring. But I'm like, that's why we've got kits and stuff. It's not like I just use rifle all the time. It's just like if you use the same weapon all the time, you don't do anything else. It's gonna be boring because it's 5 skills. That's all it is. Like we got weapon kits and we can switch weapons out of combat. You just play Guild Wars in the way you normally play and we're fine. But it looks like there's going to be some major changes with some of the weapons because a lot of people weren't happy. Staff Warrior was really fun.
It looks cool.
Yeah, the Guardian pistols was cool and fun. People were saying, okay.
I think there was like a lot of issues because sometimes, well, all of the time with Guild Wars 2, there's a lot of visual clutter, especially since Virtuoso came out. Like Virtuoso is like beautiful, but it's really in your face.
Should I tell you what, rather? I spoke to a couple of devs about this from the beginning of the game up until Mo left, who was the director and who was the lead of the studio. And apparently the orders were to make all of the effects as bright and as loud as possible because that's what will make people attracted to them. Whereas, sure, actually, yeah, I get that to a degree, but you can't see what's actually happening in the game most of the time, and they've addressed that at least over time, which has been
And
good.
the thing is, like, I don't know about you, but I'm just short-sighted, right? I don't have a visual impairment, but some people, there's a lot of people who are colorblind. There's a lot of people who have like bright light and stuff, and I know you can reduce the gamma and stuff, but it's very overwhelming. There's a lot of people who struggle with being overwhelmed visually like this, so it's very hard for them to do like meta in open world or raids or fractals, like, so a lot of content are limited because it's just so bright and so much and you can't really see what's going on. And like that's a really big worry when you see like those new weapon specs on those characters. Like I think it was on Rev, it was the scepter was, is it scepter? It was
sword.
Massive.
It's just a big sword. It's weird.
Yeah, like it just looks really bright and okay, it's really, yeah, it looks beautiful and amazing and kick-ass, but you can't even see it. Like it's just a shame.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, maybe hopefully they bring some more accessibility things and they also just turn it down because I think the options are turn post-processing down and just limit your graphics, whereas like, but you want to see the world and how nice it is, but you don't want to turn everything down. You want to turn certain things down, and you can with some stuff, but not with
there's
much.
some stuff. Yeah, and if you turn some stuff down, you can get killed. On Deimos, you don't see the pizza attack. On SX, you don't see the walls. You insta-die because you're trying to see something, but it's actually not there. So it's just like, I think in terms of accessibility, like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's awesome, I love the Virtuoso, but right now it's just like such a visual clutter, and it's so scary what's about to come when you look at those new like weapon specs.
It's true. If no one knows what the Deimos attack is that you're talking about, they're just going to be like, there's a boss that throws pizzas at you? That sounds great. It doesn't sound very law-keeping, but like, that's something like Deimos comes out April 1st. Yeah, it just starts throwing pizzas. I mean, it works.
Yeah, 100% mukbang. That's what it is.
Yeah. Through the veil, through the pizza. I don't know. It goes into the mist and brings back those pizzas. They're just like, I don't know, Cryptus. What?
They don't even have a colorblind mode, which is crazy to me.
Wait, don't they?
Nope. They do not. They don't have a...
Shit, actually.
Yeah, they don't have a...
No, you're right. It's interesting.
So,
wait, what games do, though? What MMOs do?
World of Warcraft does.
World of Warcraft does? Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's really
unexpected.
Right? Holy shit.
Yeah,
whoa, Jesus. I'm actually really surprised.
Here's what I want. So I've recently got into raiding this year because I've been really intimidated by it. I have to admit, I've always said this. I've raided in every other MMO that I've played, and it's took me all this time to raid in Guild Wars 2 because I was just intimidated. And the hardest boss you'll ever face is finding a good raid group, basically, that sits together. Yeah, hi, darling. I see you. I see you, babe. But what I would also say is that I think that games like 14 do a fantastic job of harmonizing their telegraphs across all the boss encounters, and I think that they do it through specific visual effects that marry across them all. So there is a specific effect for a hug mechanic. I think we've got that already in Guild Wars 2, but they have a color palette. So the boss has a color palette, so you know when it's a boss attack, and you can distinguish between beneficial effects and deleterious effects just simply by looking at the color palette. And I think that would be great in Guild Wars 2. I don't think that there is enough distinctions for that. It's wild, and I also, I also personally, I like my skills and effects to look beautiful. Right? That's my first character was an elementalist simply because of the scepter attack that looked like a phoenix. I'm like, that bitch is mine. I want to be this girl, right?
That's cool.
So, 100%. Didn't know it. Worst probably decision of my life. I spent 50% of my time getting picked up by other players. But anyway, that's a different point. But what I want is my visual effects to look fantastic, on point, you know, fireworks in the sky. Everyone else's can be super drab. So I want to be able to see what the boss is doing, and I want to be able to see what I'm doing so I can survive. And if we just had that kind of individual turn everybody else's down, and not necessarily their character models, you have to be able to see what other people are doing, but it doesn't have to be as bombastic as your own. And I think that would be great.
I think they've got that option, haven't they? To turn down others? Or is that Elder Scrolls Online, maybe? Maybe that's Elder Scrolls.
But what you can do, I've made so many guides. Sorry. What you can do is you can turn down the number of player characters that are on the screen at any one time. Yeah. So if you're in a big raid, or if you're in a big like world event, you can like knock down how many people you see, and you can knock down the armor and all the bombastic spell effects that you can have on your armor and your weapons and all that kind of thing, and your mounts as well. Everything you can drop that down to minimum. That's it, I think.
All right. Fair play. That's fair.
But you know, you have the option, like, for people who hate quip and the which the dreamer, the horrible short bow legendary thing. You can turn that off.
Oh no! You just upset Reading Geek. You they will be sad about that. They will be sad about that. The unicorns flying out. Ooh.
But it would
might
be
get
so
banned.
cool.
You might be fired. I'm not sure. Don't know about that one.
No, it's fine. We have bridge for reader. But it would be so cool if we could turn off the effects of other players. Like you have your beautiful effects, and then you turn it off with the other players. So it's just easier to see. There's less clutter, and it would be really good. I'm sorry to everybody I've upset. It's very annoying when you have auditory ADHD. All right, thank you. Bye, I love you.
Oh my god, that is a big thing for me. Like if there is a noise next door, it doesn't matter. It could just be a cup going on the sauce, like on the sideboard. I will just be like, fuck that person, they need to die. Just like, I really get mad. Like it's a real thing. Okay.
Yeah, for me, I have to turn off the game sound and it's not because it's just too much. Like the game is so beautiful and they put so much detail into the sound and the effects, it's just like, you know, because you have 50 players like shooting their quip and stuff, and then you have that I just can't do it. Like unfortunately, I never do.
Yeah. It's also like it could be. It's just like the picture of the sound. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So for Father Christmas, you would like to be able to hear your spell effects, but not everybody else's. You want a slider for that, right?
It's graphics and
Yes,
sound.
or graphics
There you
as
go.
well. That would be cool.
Graphics
To
and-
have your own personalized little experience, and I think that would take into account a lot of people who have their own, like, you know, ways of viewing the world and playing based on how, you know, the kind of disabilities that they may have or not. Like, I think it would just be good that they could cherry pick what they see and what they hear based on, you know, for example, me having ADHD, I'd like to hear the sound of the game. Like, you know, there's a beautiful sound when you're in your sky scale above water and you hear that whoosh. But then, like, you hear that whoosh and then you hear someone like, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm out.
I think I like that noise, actually. I can't remember which one I like. Do I like that one? Maybe not.
Oh, you're weird, Jeb.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I like the idea of this. So, okay, I'm trying to remember where I went with that. I think we started with the weapon bay. Like I talked about the weapon bearer, and then we ended up on talking about short bows and hee-hees. So, like, and that can be whatever you want it to be.
I actually have a question for you, because you said something really interesting. You were looking at the article and you said that they were talking about classic servers, and you said you'd like that. And I play World of Warcraft, so I know what they mean by classic servers.
I've played classic as well.
What does Guild Wars 2 Classic look like to you? Both of you.
It's core Guild Wars 2 dungeons and temples with the end game. But not for that long. It could be Guild Wars 2 Classic could even include Heart of Thorns, actually, with raids. Maybe. But the thing is, it would be more, I don't know. They would have to it would just be the dungeon, because the problem with Guild Wars 2 on launch was, before the expansion, was there was no end game really, which is why people left. The end game was World v World. That's what the end game was. You'll never get that the core experience of just looking around maps and that kind of stuff. The problem with Guild Wars 2 is I think it would work, because the end game they'd have to redo the end game because there's no reason for anyone to stick around in it. Like, do you know what I mean? It might not even be that old enough to do it, but they'd have to put in a whole bunch of new ways of playing the game, because I mean, maybe with everything that there is now, maybe if there was a bit of a graphics overhaul, I'm not sure, I don't know. But the reason why Classic WoW worked was because it had been out for so long and there was so much new gear, and it was so, I think, intimidating for new players to start. Whereas I think actually Guild Wars 2 is not as intimidating to start, because Guild Wars 2 you can get exotic gear and still do pretty well. And exotic gear is not really that hard to get. You don't need to go through all of the things to get it, you know. You don't need to go through new systems. You don't need to have the latest expansions to have all of to be powerful in the game. You just don't need to. It's probably the only game, one of the only MMORPGs where you don't need to do that. It doesn't take a significant amount of time. Even New World, it takes a long time for you to get good gear, and ESO is probably similar to Guild Wars 2 in that, you know, you could get stuff from core dungeons in the game and be pretty good, even in raids and whatnot. So it's like, would it be really that relevant to Guild Wars 2? Probably not. Would it be fun? I think so. I think it'd just be the base core game, but they'd have to redo some stuff potentially.
They could maybe create, like, you know how they created Old Lion's Arch, where you can, if you click on it, maybe they could do something like that, because I don't think like it would hold on its own too much, because like you said, it's just like right now Guild Wars, if you were to stop Guild Wars 2 and come back in 2 years, you would have missed a lot of story and stuff, but it's not as if you have so much to catch up and to farm for and stuff like this, and that's the beauty of this game. So I think maybe just create an instance where like you can live in old core Guild Wars 2 for like however long you want, and then get out of the instance.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a thing where you, like Brindle says in chat, like a progressive thing. So like, and they do that in Classic as well. They bring the expansions out You could bring the expansions out every year, so and like you could do seasons and have rewards and get new skins and do fun stuff like that. Maybe.
I would love to see them. So we're both like veteran players. You've played from the start, and you know that it felt like a very different game. So there was no legendary armor.
No.
There was legendary weapons very difficult to get. And what I think that players might, especially like players like rather who weren't there for when the kind of like the starting flag went, I think it would be awesome for them to kind of experience the kind of content that we got. Remember that crazy cadence that was at the start?
Oh god, every 2 weeks.
Every month there was something, and,
every 2 weeks.
Experiencing like
Literally
the
every 2 weeks.
the blades, literally like taking over the Shiver Peaks and just beating, and just like massive raids of people, sweeping across the Shiver Peaks, beating the 10 colours out of the Aether Blades in the build up to Scarlet, and we didn't know who she was, and it was all, and we were getting these bits of information coming in, and that was really fun. And that kind of drip feeding, and then it all kind of crescendoed when we had the first Jubilee. And it would be lovely if they could set up a server where this kind of content cadence happens, and then it spits you out, and you can decide: do you want to stay in this like pre-searing Ascalon version of the game, or do you want to actually progress into the retail version that's live, so that people can actually experience how absolutely batshit it was playing through that time and getting to experience that. And like, for example, like the invasion by the Karka of Old Lion's Arch, that was brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, and no one can ever get to play it again. And
that
actually,
whole thing
like,
was really good.
Yeah, and like Kanak, my favorite character in the game, his story, you really get to see his. You really get to see his story progression if you play played through the first season as it was happening. You get to interact with him in the prison. You get to interact with him on South Sun. It's amazing, and I would love new players to be able to experience that on like a preserved, like fossil version of the game or something like that. That would be awesome.
That would be like, when they came up with the Living World Season 1, so I had not done it, and that's why like I struggled to like the characters the way people love them, like Casimir and everybody, because I wasn't there from the beginning. And then you do Living World Season 1 and you hear the story of Rox and Frostbite, and it's so sweet, and then you hear more of things, and it was fantastic. But then you have a lot of players who were feeling nostalgic and telling you about this crazy cadence and how you had those massive world events and stuff. So I think what you're talking about would be fantastic, because despite us having Living World Season 1, we didn't get that like intensity and those massive kind of events. It would be really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's almost like you're playing through the Clip Notes version, the abridged version of this season 1. I mean, I was one of the I think most of the like content creators who really cared about the story, and really cared about like player retention, because if you want players to kind of commit to the world, they have to be invested in the characters, they have to be invested in the setting, and it's incredibly hard to be invested in a character who you have no idea what your connection is to them, and the story is like going on and pretending like you do, and you're completely emotionally disconnected. And I think that's one of the few areas in the story where I think that the gameplay has been too privileged over the story, because I think it kicks people out of the experience. We should have had more time with Joko. We should have had more time with Blast. We should have had more time with many different characters along the way, so that we could actually have the full effect of having that emotional experience when they're killed, or when they're thwarted, or when something significant happens. And I just think that they need to give more time for the story to breathe and to grow and to be, and that's why I think also I was a bit disappointed with this episode, because Paether is such an interesting character, and the spoilers for goodness me, what's it called, the next one, what was the latest release? Sorry, my brain is just dissipated.
Wait, what were you talking about? Expansion.
The latest expansion after Soto.
The latest release that we've just had,
Through
the
the
latest
Veil?
story release. It'll be on the wiki. Yeah, okay,
Really?
thank you. Through the Veil, that's
okay.
correct.
I was the
So
one to
we have-
remember that.
I know, my
Come on
goodness,
now.
what a shame.
Good job, Gonads. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, yay.
Go Ned, save the day. That's where I keep my brains. You chop the gonads off, it goes. That's just probably a good idea.
Oh my goodness. What was I saying? Oh,
I'm sorry.
back
not
to
really.
the boring story business. So we
I
had a
just came
character
back from my
introduced.
phone call. If you're listening audibly, I am on call, so I was like, yeah, okay.
So a character was introduced, and it seemed like this character was going to be kind of pivotal and kind of important and a significant figure in another characters who we'd interacted with, and in the interactions that we got to have with this seemingly important new character were incredibly brief and vapid and unsatisfying, at least for me. And I just feel like, as a player who loves story, I want to be able to interact with it. As a person, for people who don't, just have a skip button. Let them skip through the different pits. You can do it if they can do it in Final Fantasy XIV, a game that is literally every aspect of its gameplay is wrapped around the story, and they have a skip button. And 25-30% of the player base couldn't pick out any of the characters in a lineup. They don't know who Orange is. They have no idea. They don't care. They just want to go in and do the raids, and they can completely have that. But you can have a massive, deep story if you. And I feel like that's what I'm missing. Not enough interaction. I need to play with my toys. I want to play with toys. That's what I want to do.
I get you. It's very true. I even know which character you mean because, like, when this character came through, my entire community, they had played. I was in Europe when it came out, so I couldn't play it. And like, I just was like, "What? Okay, done." I didn't care, and everybody was like, "Oh, they're awesome!" Blah blah blah. I'm like, really? Like, you know? But it's because we didn't have a lot of time. And same with Peitha as well. Like you said, Peitha was just a fantastic character in Soto, but this time around it didn't feel as intense or like, you know, like as because she really helps out a lot in Soto. So it just felt less. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Just less intense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed it seemed like the Clip Notes version of the story that we were getting, the highlights, the top notes, not the substance. Also, I mean, there's like one part in the story that I would like a little bit more player agency as well. There's like one part in the story where Isgaran asks us, "Do you trust Peitha?" And there's no option to say no, I don't, no.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
right,
no,
that's
I
funny.
don't.
But
Guys,
like,
I mean, she's
you might
fine,
not do,
but
but
no.
maybe the maybe it's like a role play thing. You have no choice, and I feel maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a. But yeah, no, you should have the choice. That's true. That's very true. That's true.
At least let me say no for comedic effect. Come
Yeah,
on.
right. Like you could have done a video about that, for God's sake.
And then another
Fine.
option where you make Peitha and Dagda kiss.
Oh wow, that is not related. That is not related. You're just gonna stick that in. Is that what you? Is that the one big thing you're missing in Guild Wars 2 in 2023?
Yes! More big mama kisses, please.
I guess
Thank
Guild Wars 2 technically did have one of the first kind of
Yeah. Yeah. That was so cool.
same gender. Like, yeah, they did.
Like in Living Season,
Not
well,
the
like,
first, but like one of.
well, I think the same-sex marriage was the first, wasn't it?
We haven't
In
done
an MMR.
marriage yet.
They're not married yet.
Oh, sorry.
I got owned for that one. I got owned for that
was that?
one by these.
By this bitch. By this
Yes,
bitch
that
specifically.
one.
Yeah.
Please don't
I was
I'm
wrong.
fragile.
Me and someone else were wrong.
Rook. It was you and Rook. You were convinced that they'd got married, but they announced their engagement. They
Yeah.
announced their
They're
engagement.
still not married as well. Like
They're
in
not married,
MMO or land, they're like, this is like 10 years later. That's true. If they just forgot about it, they're just not gonna do it.
Didn't they do their vows? They did not do their vows. It was just the
done
pre-party.
nothing.
They were just announcing their engagement. Don't rob me of this wedding, okay? I want a wedding expansion.
That's the expansion. Yeah, I was gonna say that could be an expansion 2025 or maybe 2024. That's the extra combat thing. You can marry other players, and it becomes a PvP match. When it comes to a divorce, who takes the most gold? Sorry, I don't know.
It's
That'd be
marry.
hilarious. Escalate. Sorry.
What's that game? Marry, fucking kill. Which one? Marry and kill.
Oh no!
That's the new mini game.
No.
Please. Oh.
No one's marrying me. I'm not getting married again. Anywhere. Not in a game, not anywhere. I'm done with that. We've been there, done that. Bought a t-shirt. That's it.
Like PTSD.
And I got the next t-shirt, which is like divorced. Done.
Yes,
Now I've got a cat. I'm perfectly happy. I'll just
He has a cat and a flashlight. He needs nothing else.
Oh my god! Oh, no.
At least his gonads are happy. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
That's the dream for 2024. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas. Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I tell you what, in 2024, sorry, my favorite moments have been moments like this, and having awesome friends to share this experience with. And people I will intend to bring on more to keep these going, i.e. rather. Bornax is fine though. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine, I accept it. That's fair enough.
I will rehire
Valid.
you in next week or the week after.
It's very on point for gaming, actually. Pink slips at Christmas is like peak gaming at the moment, which is really bad.
Oh, and today is literally that piece of crap's last day. Bobby Kotick is gone. He has left Blizzard today. Today is the day. Celebrate.
No.
Because everyone is coming out about him on social media, and it's beautiful. About how much he basically fucked over everyone in the stuff. Like, he was just like, well, that's not good, obviously, but like, all the shit is that coming out about this guy. Oh my good lord. Like, he was just...
Which gaming company did he go to? Which gaming company did he go to? Because he's gone from Blizzard to another gaming company. No, he has.
I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is, actually. I don't know. I can't find it. If anyone knows, there you go.
Bobby Kotick. He's gone somewhere, and it's, oh my god.
And yes, we are being very lewd, but we do it in a jestful way. We're not so obvious, lone wolf. So just be careful.
Sorry, apologies.
We're setting a poor example. You'll learn as you hear it. It has to be very undercover, unless it's the Lightbringers podcast. Okay, I appreciate you. It's okay. They're just keeping this space protected and chill and cool. Like, we don't go down certain lines. It's okay. You understand. You understand. It's very British humor. Which can be
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I will find out. It isn't EA. It's actually, I think it's used to be a beloved gaming company.
What, Bungie?
That has just it could actually. I think you might be right. I think it might be Bungie.
There was a joke. There was someone like a big YouTuber who made a joke about him going there. Well, I know this stream is certainly taken a turn about like for the different, because it's the end of the year. It's like a, you know, maybe it's just the gaming now in general. But yeah, there was a Joker guy made a YouTube. He does this like end of year kind of like, you know, or he just makes up stories and like says, "Whoa, this is ridiculous," and people believed him that he went to Bungie, and like everyone was crying in the comments and stuff. I was like, dude, this isn't even real. Like, yeah, this is just so typical of the world, man. Just believe, you can't make shit like this because people will think it's real. It's like, Jebro's amazingly got hair, and I'll just wear a wig, like a blonde wig, an elf wig, and people will believe that shit. Like, it's actually my hair. It's like, dude, like, come on, man. I mean, if anyone finds out, I mean, we'll definitely boycott that game. So with the next one. First of all of the Harry Potter stuff. I had to tell a colleague. About that this past month, like past week. They were like, "Oh yeah, I got on this game. It's a Harry Potter game. So I'm watching all the movies. Never been into it before. Don't know anything about it." I was like, yeah, so don't tell your clients you do that.
Yeah.
Especially your trust guys. Because, yeah, the reasons. And she was heartbroken. She felt awful. I was like, yeah, you're not a bad person. It's just you didn't know. Like, that's what I'm here to do, man. And tell you about all the gaming stuff. And that's my message.
I get, yeah.
It was interesting. Anyway, so that's good. That's good news that Norwoden's going, oh god, I want that face.
Such a bad person.
Jesus.
Such a bad person.
Anyway, we're talking about Bobby Kotick, who was the on the board for Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, or is he the basic overlord? I can't remember. Basic overlord.
I think he was the chief financial officer.
I think he was the
chief financial officer.
Oh, he's the CFO. Okay.
Yeah, general monster, genuinely bad person. Literally threatened to murder his secretary. Also, cannot get laid to save his life. He actually tried to do he did an article, like a puff piece saying what a fantastic person he was, as he lamented not being able to go on a date, even though he is rich beyond the dreams of avarice. So sad. So sad for him and his tiny little friend who's not getting any other friends. Yes.
I love you so much, Fornax.
He is obviously having a terrible life.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, terrible. We all feel for you. Not really.
Yeah. F in chat for poor Mr. Kotick. Lots of Fs and offs and sex and travel.
Anyway,
as it were.
we won't waste our time talking about that piece of anymore. Sorry, very inclusive therapist. That is also my job. I'm really good at that. So
F for his little friend.
Yes.
Oh, it's scary.
The chat's going on. Okay, so
yeah.
let's end it on a good note. I can't remember how long we've begun. We're getting on. Guild Wars 2 in general, I think this past year has been pretty successful. I think people, I know that there's grumbles from the higher echelons. I'm not going to mention streamers specifically, but I know the more hardcore part of the community is probably a little bit more upset than most. They feel like there isn't really much for them. I also don't think the game was intended for them, in all honesty. I think the game is intended to be a fairly casual experience, but you can experience all of the content to a certain degree, and then there's a few bits and pieces that you can't, because you need to have groups, and you need to have guilds, and you need to have communities that you're a part of. And I think you are incentivized to some degree, at least, to do that. But it is a lot harder. I think that's part of the game they need to work on, actually, as well. But yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 has a community that it is focused on. I actually think their focus is the best focus on the casual player, the person who can come and log in when they please and they don't have to feel like they're missing out. I think they do offer enough for people to play at like a rate where they have a life outside of the game, because I think that a lot of the time the moaning does often come from the folks that where the game is just what they just have that and that's all they have, and I think that's unfortunate. And when you base everything around one thing, that's not healthy, unfortunately. So I think if that's the case, that's something that you might need to do a little bit of work on, build some relationships outside of that, and easier to kind of gripe at myself.
Play other games, yeah. There's lots of games out there.
Like, that's a good way of experiencing, preparing you for maybe going out and experiencing life in a different way, is to experience other games and other communities and other people.
And
yeah,
honestly, like I think I can fall into like the content that those creators you mentioned do. Like I do a lot of endgame, and I would love a new raid wing, but the thing is I'm not bored with the game. Yeah, you can, and the thing is, if you start like wanting to use your knowledge to help other players, like for me, I love raid training. It's my favorite thing in the world. I've done those raid like 1 billion times on so many accounts, and I'm not bored of it because I get to help someone get their legendary armor, and they thought they would never get it because they thought that raid was toxic. If you just like most content creator who still enjoy the game, keep giving to others, it's really freaking fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. I think just balancing things out is really, really important. Hopefully you can just do a little bit more of that, like just life. Just life. Go and do some other stuff, it's okay. But yeah, no, I think the game's had a good year. I am pretty happy with where things are. I think they've got a bunch of new systems that are just feel quite good. I'm playing more Guild Wars 2 probably than I have in a long time. I mean, I'm daily doing that. Jesus. Thank you for the gifted subs. It is 25% off right now, and it really, really does help. I've got a student loan and a car loan to pay off right now, and health bills, so thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your face very much. Thank you. That's very kind. And now I'm screwed. Where was I? Thank you. ADHD, thank you.
Student loans.
The squirrel with the subscription.
Yeah.
The squirrel with the subscriptions. And the game's doing well. Like, I mean, I really like the Astral Acclaim thing. I think there's just different ways they could really tell people how to use that system a little bit better. Like, you don't have to do world v world PvP and dailies in with your PvE dailies. Like, there are a lot of people that don't know that. There's one thing, like, I think it's just, that is the big thing I would love to see more in 2024, is communicate their systems better to the player, because their systems are very good when they know about them. Like the achievements, like I would say that half the game is locked behind achievements. I would say that half of the game is genuinely locked behind achievements, and people don't know about the content that's there. I'm talking about, like, legendary journeys are huge. There is so much. That's like a story. It's a whole story there. That's a whole story. It's probably more than, I would say. Would you say like a legendary journey is almost like a living world, story-wise, or like maybe a half a season or something, or maybe even just like, it's long, right? It's pretty long.
You mean making the legendary?
No, the legendary. Have you done a legendary journey story yet? See?
No. What is
See?
it?
You need to. What? Like, go and make one. It's so good.
Wait, what is?
I'm doing Jump right now, and I'm not even gonna spoil it, but oh my god, those tigers.
Yeah, making a legendary. Yeah.
No, but like with the legendary story, like the Chumpa, the staff, the other things. So those with the story,
Yeah.
So,
okay. They're fantastic. Yeah, no, I've loved like all of them. Yeah. Besides Astralaria, I found that was really annoying.
Okay, I've not made that one. How many have you done? Have you done all of them?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's good. I've done.
Damn, girl. God damn.
I did the pistol. I'm on Chumpa for the short bow for engineer, so that one's been good so far. That one's been really
Well,
good.
I think like the best like getting armory, which I know it's old news now, but it was the best thing that ever came out. Like I remember when like before armory, like I had bought so many like of those like slots that you could share between your character just so I could put my raiding armor when I was raid selling and stuff because it was awful. So just like, and I think that really encouraged player. That's when I started making all those legendary and went on those journeys because they were fantastic and fun.
They are so good, and there's a lot of achievements in. They're just a lot of story as well. Not even just story, but just like skins and like access to different equipment and things that newer players could do, where they could play the content rather than just going and trying to find out a YouTube video to try and find out how to get the best ascended gear, which probably would end up telling them to go and do an achievement they need to go and do so they can get the thing anyway, because they weren't. There's communication wasn't there between the actual game and the player. Like there's a gap there, a significant gap, because that system doesn't really exist in any MMORPG where significant power, or not even power, but like I think sometimes I count a legendary as power because it's just the power to change between different stats. It's not like actual power. It's a little bit of power between that and
hyper utility is how I phrase it.
Yeah, I like that more. So it's all kind of locked. I'm not going to go through the whole pay to win thing because otherwise someone's going to lose their
Oh gosh.
I've had that conversation on Twitter. No, I've never again. Oh my god. And that's something in 2024 I am not doing. I'm not arguing with twats on the internet anymore. It's a waste of my energy.
Yeah, good job.
Oh god, I'm 42. It took me that long time to get to that point. Oh my god.
Yeah. You've got too many good things to do. You need to go and stroke your kitty. That's what you need to do instead of arguing with people.
Okay.
Your cat.
Yes. It's just weird for that to not be something else from you, so.
I thought about going there. I did. I thought about going there. Here's what I would like to do.
I know you did. I know.
I held myself back just for you. I didn't want to defile your cat.
I do think I know you quite well now. Jesus Christ!
So I would like to see is. I'm sorry, darling. I love you, Krisha. You're a good girl.
Beautiful girl.
She is a beautiful girl. So I would love for the devs to actually utilize their Twitch and have a series of videos that actually highlight.
We've got someone in the chat who's on their Twitch quite often, Roy. With his
Roy
stuff.
Yeah.
His balancing of weapons and all the things and the traits.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we see on Twitch anymore. Of that and Extra Life, which is always great.
Well, it is, but I mean, as you said, I mean, I've said this to loads of people who have introduced to the game. 50, at least 50% of the game is hidden content, and it's good to have some hidden content in a game, but they haven't got the balance right. And I would love to have a series of videos by the team, just opening the doors and showing people all the hidden content that there is and all the hidden achievements. I mean, if you love achievements, this game is fantastic. If you are a person who thinks that it should be player skill over creeping like stat numbers, Guild Wars 2 is the game you should be playing, because it's the only game that's got this level playing field that means that it's what you bring that actually makes the difference, and I feel like they don't bang on about this enough. And there's just so much lore, so many fantastic maps, so many game modes, so much community spirit around the game as well, that I just feel like they don't ring their own bell. They don't toot their own horn enough about how fantastic and how deep and how rich the game is and all the systems. And I really wish they would. Would. Roy, get on it, darling. I know that you just sponsored a video of mine, and I really appreciate it for Extra Life. Roy gave £100 to make a video, and and in fairness, he said it was supposed to be 5 minutes. It's a 15-minute video, so I think you got a lot of bang for the buck for Extra Life. But yeah, please make it so, sir. that's the wish list for 2024.
We've talked about the advertising part before as well. To someone in chat, Sussex in chat, we have. I think everyone's talked to it to some degree, but like we just would like them to tell the players who are already playing their game as well. It is kind of interesting how that does transfer as well into the game, that the communication to people about how to like you should play Guild Wars 2 because it's epic also kind of translates in game like to systems and talking to people and telling them how their game works and how so much is kind of hidden behind all of these systems. It's just like there is a real gap there. I honestly think it's because of how they wanted. I think it's because of how the game was developed and how it was originally seen by them, because they didn't want to do a classic quest system. Classic. That's funny. Because they didn't want to do that system, right? So they had to go. So they went with the Warhammer system, right? They went with public quests, which is what events are. So you go to places, you do this thing, you do the event. Events are extra, hearts are different. They're basically quests which are just open. You just don't have to talk to someone. That's basically it. And so it was like, well, if we're not going to put exclamation marks above people's heads, how do we communicate to people what they need to do? And they still did it anyway, because they still did it in the story quest, because that's exactly what you do. You go and find the person, they've got the thing, they've got the mark on the map. It's still the same thing. So they should probably just, I would say, just going back to that old school way mentality of like exclamation marks about people's heads where they tell you what the hell to do and you transfer it into the game from the achievement. And the achievement is just the quest log, maybe. I don't know. Because they've still got it for NPCs when you do the legendary journey. You still talk to NPCs like for like the armorers and stuff like that. Anyway, so a lot of the text is there. I don't know. It's just an idea.
I mean,
it's going off.
I bet 50% of the people. I bet 50% of the people in chat right now haven't done the quest chain with Marjorie at the end of Dragons, where she goes around and she's talking about her sister. I bet they haven't done it because it's not. They just don't telegraph the content that they have well enough. And a lot of people play game. They have an MMO mentality whereby they're just trying to get to the end of it, and they if you want them to see something, you have to like neon sign, Belisha fucking beacon, blah, 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 look at this, you have to really kind of grab them by the short and curlies and grab them and pull them over to the content that you want them to look at, because they'll just run past it 1,000 miles an hour chasing some butterfly. So and you can say that about every expansion and like 50% of the content, and I feel like that's why people don't realize just what a fantastic deal all these other expansions have been, just how much content and depth you're getting in the game, and they really just need to toot their own horn, and not in a pervy way. They need to kind of shout it from the rooftops, evangelize for their game, for all the expansions to get people in. Yeah.
And I just add something like that is a little bit relevant, like there, and I'm not saying this because you have a couple of devs in your stream, but over the past few weeks, I've had a few devs that have willingly come into my squad to help out people get the carry the creator achievement, or get get killed in PvP or in World v World, or do fractals. I've even had, and I won't name him because I'm sure he wants to, but he donated like the plushie Skyscale skin to 3 people in my stream. And it's just like fantastic. Like, it's a great game made by great fucking people. Sorry, great freaking people. And it's just really awe-inspiring, and that's why like this is also one of the reasons why you should support the game, because it's just fantastic and the people are extremely nice in it. The people that make it, even the content creators as well. Like, it's just a really great community.
Oh yeah. They're good people. The devs are great. Good friends as well.
Yeah, exactly. You make friends with them. Like, genuinely, like, I'm friends with a lot of them, and not because they're devs, just because they're genuine, amazing people who are in love with the game that they make.
Yeah, we're very cool, everyone. We're very cool. Especially the bouncy ball people and also the people that are sitting in the actual game reporting live. Okay. So I think honestly 2024, I think the main difference, I know there's a look, I know with the weapons and stuff, they're looking to bring some more news in terms of like the big changes they're having around that. All I am concerned about is them working their absolute asses off so hard with this new cadence. That is my one concern. But I know at the same time there is a big concern to make sure that is not the case. So as long as that's the case, then cool, I'm good. I think again, just communicating that their game is awesome to the public and to the players in ways that they share the content in their game really, really would be great. And I'm looking forward to 2024. I mean, I think 2022, 2023 has been two of the best years of Guild Wars 2 since maybe Heartthorn's launch, for sure. Other than Path of Fire, there was a lot, but you know, I think the systems that came out were very, very good. There's different things, but that was 2017. It's been a long time since then. Obviously, there was a bit of a gap between 2017 and 2022. Just a big thing happened, you know. Not saying any names, Kovan, you bastard. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, and we'll probably do shows in January talking about what we are excited for. But February is probably the next time we're seeing content from Guild Wars 2, because January is a quiet month for just gaming in general. Like, no one has the money to really go out there and spend a ton of money on games. It's just not really the thing that's done. But then, you know, we start to have all the shows. There's GDC, there's loads of stuff, and it's just going to be 2024 is going to be wild. 2024 for many reasons.
For many reasons.
But it's going to be good.
Reasons.
We're going to make it good. And I hope everyone is... we're winding down now, just in case you didn't know. But does anyone else want to say anything about Guild Wars 2 in 2023 or what they're looking forward to in 2024?
Everything.
Everything,
exactly.
hands in the air.
A Lagos expansion. You heard it here first. Lagos expansion definitely going to be happening. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Dagda and Faith are kissing.
Yes.
Dagda and Pay for kissing.
Yeah.
Really meaningful.
Lesbian
things.
love for the win. 2024. Nothing but lesbians wall to wall. As far as the eye can see.
I love you.
And marriage as well.
Yeah.
Get that
And
marriage out
Wing
there.
5 with Fornax. Let's go. Eh?
I mean, that
Wing
could.
four. Oh my god.
Well,
I have a panic attack. Hang on.
I think they're going back to raiding. I honestly think they're going to bring raids back. I don't think strikes have met the one they wanted to.
Everybody has given up on the idea. I'm not giving up. I'm sure they will bring it back at some point.
I was the first one to give up on the idea, but I actually think they're going to go back to it.
But there's one thing that it's been good in terms and I say that as someone who loves raiding, but I think that giving us this gap between raid wings, where we haven't had a new raid wing since 2019, is good in a way, because it really detoxified raid. Like, we're starting to have more and more like chill players and like raid trainers. And like a lot of people are getting like their legendary trinket, the legendary armor, and a lot of people are helping. I see so many of my streamer friends who are like, yeah, let's get shit done and stuff. I do that as well, and I think that's really good. And like all the really toxic player, I'm sorry, I don't mean to put them under the bus, but
there's 100% a lot of people like that.
There was a lot of them. Like when I started raiding, I was surrounded by them. And now,
I mean, what?
sure wasn't there.
What? No, I mean, I was pretty
little
awful in PvP. I will freely admit that.
No, I was part of the raid selling community, which unfortunately it makes you a little bit toxic, but I got out of that. But it's been really good, because all the really toxic players that I used to raid sell with just fucked off, and it's fantastic because now like you just like you get players.
That's why I like it when all these people go. I'm just like go. Like I really don't like the game where it's going go. Just go. Just play something else.
Like, Call of Duty. Go back to Call of Duty.
We don't really want you here anyway. It's fine. Like, no one really wants you.
And it's been just really fantastic. And now I can see like some pro raiders that they don't have any patience for this. For example, I do raid reset, full CMs every Monday. It's super chill with a bunch of friends who have raided since 2015. And we got this pug. And I had forgotten, being ADHD and streaming, I had forgotten to include like the alacrity giver in one sub. So we had 2 alacrity givers in the other sub. That pug GG'd. And say, where the fuck is the alacrity? We killed the boss. As soon as we killed the boss, all of us were like, kick that guy. And we got someone super chill after that. Like, there's no more patience for this toxicity
so toxic,
now.
Bravo, though.
I'm toxic for the toxic stuff. But I know that there's still a lot of people who are scared of raiding, and please hear me out. Like, you should not be scared. The community is much less toxic, and if you fall on someone who's toxic, believe me, it's like one of a kind, and she will probably be bashed by being toxic. So don't be scared of getting into raids. They're really fantastic, and they have lots of lore associated to them as well.
Massive amounts of lore. Also, if you put cozy raid, that cozy word is like a shield of steel. It's like putting your pronouns in your bio. It's like it's an asshole repellent. So
they'll leave a comment and leave, or they'll do one of the other.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or you put semi experience as well, or chill, and you will get like people who are very kind. Like
That's what I do with the I've been doing like toy apocalypse and stuff. I've been just like toy apocalypse and chill and like stuff like that. I know people don't go hardcore in that, but like just to get people who are nice. I just got people who are nice every single time. I've done like 3 or 4 times. All right, some of them have been the guildies, so they're obviously nice because And if you do want to join a guild, the Lightbringers Guild, in the description below, you can find an application and you can also join us. And also, if you're in the old Discord, we've come over to our new Discord, which is my actual channel Discord now, which is now renamed to the Lightbringers because it made no sense to have 2. So, which is where we're doing the podcast today as well. It's very inclusive, very protected, and we have 2-factor authentication and all the things if you want to come and join us, which Fornax knows about now.
Not inclusive for people who don't do 2-factor authentication, which I had to find my mobile phone, so fuck you very much, darling, but that's fine. I feel safer already. Yeah.
All right, you said darling in there at the same time, so I don't take too much of it. Okay. Is there anyone wants to talk about before we head out and raid over to someone in the Guild Wars directory potentially? Wow, there's a lot of VTubers in the directory at the moment. That's amazing.
Cool. I just wanted to say hello to Otterscotch. Hi, hon. How you doing? I see you in the chat.
You always do that.
I always do that.
You always like say hi to someone.
I say hello to Rob. Hi, Rob. You're in the chat.
Yeah, Rob just in the chat. Like, no one else can see the chat. Maybe I should increase. Oh no! Oh God! I promise. The Crown Herald was not fired.
No!
That timing was amazing.
Wait, I am Fornax though.
You are Fornax. I'm actually me and you at the same time. Hello. Hello, mate. I'm Rava. Hello, I'm Jebro. Oh no, I'm French and also Australian.
Oh my.
I'll stay over here. We'll hopefully get Fornax back in. I didn't beat them out. I promise.
I miss you.
I'm still here. I'll try and just be 2 people. Can you try and do a British accent and be Fornax?
No, I think she would hate me if I did that.
I wouldn't.
Alright, I'll try. Toodle-doo, get into my TARDIS.
Oh, no, you're back. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
You're so strict today. I got kicked for saying hello to my friend.
No, you did not. You literally didn't get. I did not kick you. See, that was so funny. The timing. I legitimately didn't kick you, but that was so funny. The timing was pretty damn good. Like, what the hell? Oh,
it is really suspicious that she got kicked right at that moment.
It is very suspicious. I promise that is not.
I regret
something.
nothing. I took one for the team, Otter. It was worth
Thank
it,
you.
darling. You're worth it. Yeah.
That was totally worth it because like someone came in and was like, you know, into the world and was just like, yeah, you need to be gone. That was rude. That was rude. You cannot behave in
Instant
this
armor.
way. Okay. Okay, everyone. We will see you then in the new year for the Lightbringers podcast. Thank you so much. The podcast has been. I can actually. I can give you some. Maybe I can give you some numbers. But like the podcast has grown again. The most impactful episode was the hype around So-So, of course, because you know that makes sense. We reached a bunch more people this year. I think we had, for the first time, I think Spotify brought video in for the first time on their platform as well. So you've been able to watch video, which is very, very cool. Otherwise, there we go. I can't do it because I can't get into my account right now, apparently. God damn it.
Multi-factor authentication. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fast. I just need to use my Google thing. God. Everyone's on one. Oh no, wait, there we go. Explode your reps. Blah de blah. It's coming up. But yeah, if you want to watch us on Spotify, you can check the link in the chat live if you're here. Otherwise, you can check us. Just do the Lightbringers podcast, Guild Wars 2, and you'll find us there. You can find us on Apple iTunes, on iTunes, and probably your favorite podcast place that you enjoy, because we're all over the place. Chuck us a review. I would massively appreciate it. Even if you don't like us, give us a 5 stars because it's important. But yeah.
Do it for the gonads. Do it for the gonads, guys.
They go lower than 5, and I'm like, man, how could you do that? Like, the people would just go 5, and there'll be like some 1s in there which drag it down because they just don't like me. Just the way it is. It's okay. I get it. It's fine. It's just my haircut is better than yours. If you could even call it a haircut.
They just can't handle your sexual magnetism, darling. That's what the problem is. That's
Just heard that from the Crown Herald.
just too much.
I mean, the Crown Herald is where
yeah.
the news is at, people.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
That is true.
You're chucking
that on your
people left
resume.
and right. That's what's happening. Yeah.
I'm going to take this energy into 2024 right now. It's coming with me. Okay. Excellent.
Cuck energy. Yeah.
Wow. That word, please.
I was just gonna be wholesome and say, Reader Geek, you get all the 5
Don't like
stars.
that word. Don't bring that into 2024.
Sorry, darling.
Leave it in 2019 or wherever people started to make more use of that word. No, the word is fine. Like, I don't like yuck people's yums. It's all good. It's more about the usage of it. It is not respectful to the community of people that do things.
You're such a care bear. I love you so much. You're such a care bear. It's so
It's
lovely.
not.
Carry on.
It's offensive to people. Anyway, okay. So join us next year as we continue to talk bollocks. Goodbye. No. Phonex, tell us what you do and where you do it, so people can avoid you.
True. Yes, definitely. Do not go to YouTube. Do not type the Crichton Herald in anything because it's always me. It's always that bitch. I'm always there. Yeah. And definitely don't watch my YouTube channel. It's terrible. You'll fall asleep at the wheel and die. That's what's going to happen. Never do it. People get
That's some
narcolepsy
reverse
listening to my
psychology.
content.
Why do I want to go watch it even more now?
Self-slander, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Self-slander. Okay, don't follow Phonex.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Don't,
Rafa,
don't.
tell us what you do and
Save
where you do
yourselves.
it. Save yourself.
Well, I'm not gonna use reverse psychology because I won't be able to keep a gay face. I don't like saying straight face. Thank you. But I'm live on Twitch almost every day. I love Guild Wars 2, and I stream Guild Wars 2. Hopefully, you know what? Can I put that as a goal? Because I am surrounded by 2 people I admire. Yes, I'm like here.
We
yeah.
surround you.
And yeah, well. In the Discord layout, right?
Oh, okay,
You're up and down, you know. And
straddled, yes.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, for 2024, I'm hoping I can like make it like he as an ArenaNet partner and keep doing Guild Wars 2 content because I really
that
love
needs
it.
to happen. It needs to happen. We will
I'd like
hashtag make rather partner. Or what is quicker? What is the quickest one to do? We'll send that into 2024. Make rather a partner for ArenaNet. Do it.
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
it.
But
Sorry.
other than that, yeah, you can find me on Twitch, and it's like Jebro's stream. It's a safe space for people. It's very important. I'm pro mental health. This is why Jeb and I are good friends. And just remember to take care of yourself and to try your best in a world that's not very kind. I always say that, and it's very important. So, yeah.
Very, very true indeed. Peeps, be good to each other.
Yeah.
And talk to those people who you may not have talked to in a while. And if you need someone to cheer you up, search for Pop-Tarts Bowl, because it's truly an amazing thing. Okay. And if you don't know, I'm just going to show you right now because it's amazing. The Pop-Tarts Bowl was a real thing that happened in life. It's just a Pop-Tart that's a human, and it went down into a toaster. And dreams really do come true.
That's fantastic.
The Pop-Tart sacrifice.
You've been in America too long. I'm calling it. You have to come home now. Okay?
Oh my
That's it.
god.
You gotta come home.
It was so
You gotta come
amazing
home.
though. It's the only reason I would ever watch American football probably. I mean I do I'm gonna get into an American sport this next year, but it's actually gonna be football. So it's not really an American sport. But like, you know. Anyway.
Football, or
I didn't call it soccer.
American football.
I know
Okay.
football.
Okay. Football. Okay.
Thank you so much for watching the Lightbringers podcast. If you want to check out the twitch.tv/JebroUni, 1 p.m. Pacific on a Friday, kind of ish, maybe. Around that time, we'll be live weekly, hopefully, but maybe not the first week of January. We'll see. But you gotta be in to win it, as they say. Let's go. Thank you for an amazing year. Appreciate your faces. Pardon me. I didn't see that. And we'll see you next time. Be safe, be cool, be chill, be good to other people. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.